Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges for any French teacher out there. How do you turn those reluctant learners into active, confident speakers? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down 3 proven strategies that can honestly make all the difference in your FSL classroom.
You know the look, right? You've been there. You can see the understanding in their eyes, you know they get it, but getting them to actually speak, it feels like hitting a brick wall. It's that wall of silence that can be so frustrating.
But here's the good news. We can absolutely help our students make this exact transformation. There are some really clear research-backed strategies to help them go from, arms crossed silence to hands up participation. So here's our game plan. We're going to cover 3 powerhouse strategies: creating immediate success, giving students a real voice and a choice, and then harnessing the power of the group effect. Let's dive right into our first one. All right, our first strategy is all about giving students a tangible win right from the get-go. The goal here is super simple. We want to build their feeling of competence to lower their fear of speaking. And the psychology behind this is just fascinating. Research from Deci and Ryan points to something called perceived competence as a massive driver of motivation. It's basically the belief that, hey, I can actually do this. When students feel like they can succeed, they are infinitely more likely to try. So what does this actually look like on a Tuesday morning? Well, it means starting with tasks that are almost impossible to fail. Think super simple I can statements like je peux say my favorite color or je peux greet a friend. Every single student in the room can do that. But here's the crucial next step. It's not enough for them to just succeed. You have to make that success visible. I'm talking stickers, a check mark on a progress board, or even just a big collective bravo. That visibility builds momentum, and it absolutely crushes the fear of failure. You know, if this first strategy is already sparking some ideas for your classroom, do me a favor and give a quick click on that like button. It really helps other teachers find these tips too. Now, let's build on that foundation of success. So, that new sense of competence leads perfectly into our second strategy, voice and choice. This one is all about boosting a student's autonomy to really spark their internal motivation. The science here is called self-determination theory, and again, it's from Deci and Ryan. It basically says that autonomy, that feeling of being in control, is a fundamental human need. So when we give students a sense of control over their own learning, their motivation just naturally goes up because their actions feel like their own. And listen, this doesn't mean you have to redesign your entire curriculum. The choice can be as simple as asking students to share their favorite food versus their favorite sport. It seems so minor, right? But giving them that little bit of agency has a huge impact on their willingness to participate. And here's a teacher-tested hack that works like magic. Whenever you can, connect the tasks to their actual interests. I'm talking TikTok, hockey, pizza. Whatever it is, participation just skyrockets when the topic is something they already care about. Now, for our third and final strategy, we're going to harness a force that's already in your classroom, the power of peers. We call this the group effect. And the research on this? It's crystal clear. Scholars like Dernier have shown that a positive, cohesive group environment is one of the single strongest motivators you can possibly have in a language classroom. Here is a super practical way to put this into action, the mini challenge. Just pair students up or put them in small groups. Give them a really simple, low-pressure task, like trying to speak only in French for just 1 minute. It's short, it's fun, and it's totally collaborative. Now, the most important part is this. You celebrate the group's effort, not just one individual's performance. This immediately lowers the pressure on any single student, and it turns learning into this shared, supportive experience. Everybody succeeds together. All right, let's do a quick recap. Think of this as your new FSL motivation toolkit with 3 powerful ideas you can literally use tomorrow. Remember our 3 keys. First, give them that awesome feeling of immediate success. Second, offer them a voice and a choice to build their autonomy. And third, leverage the group effect to make learning a team sport. These are totally classroom tested and backed by solid research. But motivation is just the start, isn't it? What happens next? Well, in our next explainer, we're going to dive deep into long-term engagement strategies, ideas to keep your students speaking French all year long. And hey, to make sure you've always got fresh ideas for your classroom, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to NoteXpress Education, and maybe share this with a colleague who you think might find it useful. And that brings us to the final and most important question. Looking at these 3 strategies, which one are you going to try in your classroom first? Let that be your first step to turning those reluctant learners into the confident speakers you know they can be.